normally around here it's very quiet, as you know. Nothing ever happens.
No, that doesn't seem like your neighborhood at all.
I said normally. It's very quiet, and nothing ever happens. But outside of that, across the street, there's this lesbian couple that's constantly fighting. Like, it's not like fist fighting or anything like that, but they're constantly outside yelling at each other and, screaming and cursing at each other and stuff. And so they started up, and I opened my window so I could hear it. And it was pretty amusing. It was noon at the time, and the one is accusing the other one of still being drunk from last night and telling her to get out of her house. And it was pretty entertaining.
It's entirely reasonable that they could have this argument inside where they don't have to expose the whole neighborhood to it.
That's kind of what I was thinking, but it always seems to spill outside.
Spills out of doors.
It spills out of the door, and then they're outside yelling and screaming at each other for the whole neighborhood to hear, and then somehow it eventually just works its way back inside, and then that's all we ever hear of it. I don't know, it's interesting.
Seems, disruptive, if I'm being entirely honest.
A little bit, but luckily I don't try and work in here. I'm in the other room, so it never really bothers me. I find it more interesting than anything. But, that and combined with, when was that, Monday? The little siege situation we had up here. I mean, it's becoming a very active neighborhood here.
Siege situation?
Yeah, with, we had like 12 police vehicles up here because some guy was trying to beat his girlfriend with a hammer or something.
Huh.
Seems like an odd thing to do, but apparently he was
bunch of psychos over there.
Chasing after this woman with a hammer and getting in his car and, screeching up and down the road, and he asked some kids who were outside if they'd ever seen a car go through a house at 80 or something.
Jeez.
I'm like, what? What kind of meth do you have to be on to think that you could even get to 80 miles an hour anywhere around here? I mean, I guess you could, but and then you're going to drive through a house? I mean, that's going to negatively affect you as much as anyone else, I would think.
Well, that's really the only benefit to this whole thing.
Him going through a house at 80 and putting an end to all this nonsense.
Yeah, at least then we can be rid of this guy's stupidity.
That's true. Instead, he just, barricades himself in the house after the neighbors chase him over there because, I guess he didn't want anything to do with my neighbors. And,
that's amazing to me that anybody actually got involved because, as a general rule, you could be screaming at the top of your lungs for help and nobody is ever going to help you.
That's true, but the neighbors who got involved they're like the Hills. They're like Hank Hill and his friends are always outside, and they're just kind of staying around, hanging out, and they're younger. They're probably like our age. But I guess they got involved because he was running around with this hammer like right out by them, and they're always outside, and their daughter's always out there playing. And, they don't want any of that crap, so they got involved.
Absolutely.
And they kind of push this guy back towards this house, and then he barricades himself in, and then the cops show up like 2 seconds later, and they're in the street with rifles and stuff, and I'm like, this is absurd.
Was the entire neighborhood get out the lawn chairs?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I put a picture of it online. There was my whole complex here is out at the end of the parking lot, like where I park. And they're with lawn chairs. They got Smirnoffs. This is like a 4th of July. It's like a 4th of July party to them. And I'm like, you people are retarded because, this guy, we saw him with a hammer. People saw him with a hammer swinging on this woman, but we don't know what else he has. We don't know what his frame of mind is.
I can say it's probably not terribly stable.
No, he could come out, even though there's a lot of cops outside. What's going to stop him from coming out guns blazing? I mean, I guess they would shoot him right away, but still,
Yeah, I'm certainly not going to put myself within the firing range of that experience. He comes out of that house
shooting, and all these people are well within range. And it's like,
yeah,
you guys are out here in lawn chairs, drinking beer. Some woman was pushing a stroller around out there. I'm like, you people are idiots, man.
That's for certain.
Like, I was watching it, but I was half watching it from inside because I could see the whole thing from my window here. And I was also outside, like by the steps, by the building. So, like, if this guy comes charging out of this house, I'm good,
Yeah. See, and you were just watching for your own invested interest in yourself.
Absolutely.
Not as a source of entertainment.
No. I want, if somebody's, running around with hammers and there's people with guns 50 feet from me, I'm watching to, keep myself safe.
Yeah. I mean, the best thing you can do is just extricate yourself from the situation. I'm surprised you didn't just go over to your folks' place and put some pork steaks on the old grill there.
Well, I could have
beer and a
walked over
rocking
there,
chair.
but I couldn't have driven over there because that whole intersection, the whole street was shut down. Like, I would have had to walk over there, which is no big deal. I mean, but I was like, I'm here. Like, I want to kind of see how this plays out. But I'm not going to be sitting in lawn chairs with flip-flops on, drinking a beer like these maniacs.
Not to mention, I don't know that the person that's actually getting attacked really appreciates that behavior.
No, not at all. And
she probably didn't think it was so entertaining.
She's on the side of the neighbor's house, like being consoled by her mother and the police, and, she's probably scared out of her mind, and she's got the whole neighborhood out here in lawn chairs, like, watching this scene. I'm like, oh, jeez.
Sad part is that guy probably went home a couple days later.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Like, after 3 hours of this standoff, basically, it was like 100 degrees. This guy, the cops came over and told everyone to leave, told everyone to, get the hell out of there. So the people were folding up their chairs and just kind of, hanging out on the side, still watching, but away. And they brought this guy out in cuffs, and he went into an ambulance. So I'm sure drugs were involved or something,
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a terribly stable behavior, but...
No, you generally don't act like that ordinarily.
Yeah, well, not everybody's like you, Larry.
That's true. I was more concerned with the fact that I'm like, all right, I'm trying to run here. I'm trying to go run, and I can't get up the street because, there's 100 cop cars and people all over the place. They got it barricaded off.
Seems like a lot of things occur in your neighborhood, which is very odd considering you live in the middle of Americana suburbia.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, there was a cardboard box on the street once that, like, everybody thought was a bomb. It's just a cardboard box floating in the wind, and like the whole neighborhood freaked out.
It was Thanksgiving Day because I was going to go over to my parents' house, and it was early in the morning, so I was sitting here relaxing, and I look out the window here, and on the corner, there's this little box, and before you know it, like a cop pulls up, and then another cop pulls up, and then they block off the street. And then, like, a bomb squad, van pulls up, and I'm like, what do they think is happening right now? Like, nobody's going to put a bomb on the corner of in Fenton, Missouri. Like, there's nothing there.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
It was very odd. I ended up putting a camera on my windowsill here and running the video because I knew that on my little, camera I have about 45 minutes of crappy video I can take. So I set this camera up and I rolled it, and then I walked over to my parents' house for Thanksgiving. And when I came back, I had 45 minutes of, cops looking at this box, this bomb squad, all this, and then at the end, some guy just goes over and picks it up and puts it in the van and takes off. I'm like, it's a cardboard box, It's
probably like a ham, Thanksgiving ham that like fell off the back of somebody's truck and is just sitting out there in the street.
It's probably a box somebody was driving late at night and eating a box of Frosted Flakes and threw it out the window because they were done with it.
But somebody felt it important enough to call the police. They're like, there's a cardboard box on the corner.
On the corner. It's not in
I don't know what it is. Could be a bomb.
There's nobody there. It could be a box of Frosted Flakes, or it could be a bomb.
Or a ham.
Or a honey-baked ham. You better go check this out.